Hey y'all, welcome back.
Hey, my people.
We took a little break, but we're gonna go ahead and finish up these moments. So we're at motivational moment 18. Motivational moment 18 is push through. Sometimes you just don't feel like it. Whatever your it is, maybe it's going to work, hitting the gym, cooking, paying bills, or even going to church. Sometimes you just don't feel like it. And do you know what? That's okay. Because there's going to be days that you just don't feel up to it. We can go there, but we cannot stay. In those moments, because our feelings will fool us and have us staying in those places far longer than we should. We have to feel and then we have to get up and keep going. Push through. It's because of your push that somebody else will know they can make it too. Remember the time that you didn't feel like doing that before? You didn't feel like pushing, but after a while and you got up and did it, it wasn't so bad and you were actually glad that you did. Be rewarded with that same type of feeling today and push through. Don't give up, just go through with it. And that's it.
I like that chapter. Just push through and many times different things in life, like you said in the chapter, you may not feel like getting up for work and you may not, whatever that thing is, you may not feel like going to church, but once you push through it, once you get over the hurdle of not wanting to do it, it kind of, not always, but most of the time it smooths out. Just like a prime example. Usually people always go through this. Like in the morning, nobody wants to get up for work.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to get up for work. But once you get up out the bed, that's the hardest part about getting up out the bed. Once you get out the bed, get yourself ready, brush your teeth, whatever you have to go through. And once you get to work, it was kind of like, I wasn't even that tired. It was just I ain't really feel like getting up.
Yes.
It's just like if you feel like, well, I don't even feel like going to church today. Like I've been at work all week and kids getting on my nerves and whatever you can say that helps you push that excuse through. But once you get to church, you get to you praise and worship, you communing with God, you get to whatever, you hear the word, you get stronger. You that was just a trick of the enemy because you wouldn't have been able to do any of that if you had just went on and said, well, that is true. That's that excuse true. Mm-hmm. Let me stay here, feel sorry for myself.
Right.
I miss out on this Sunday, and you never know how that chain of events can happen. You miss this one, then you miss the next one,
and then
it becomes a habit. Yep. But just push through. Even if you don't feel like doing it, and the thing about it is, no pride in it. Like you may be the encourager for somebody else at church. Not saying that you're God or they're depending on you, but it's just like you come to church and you see somebody else and that kind of encourages you. They give you a hug. They might even give you some encouraging words that you might need. You might be that encouraging word that they need. So go ahead and push through.
Yes. I was just going to say, too, when you're using church as an example, there's been times where you be like, man, I'm just heavy. I don't feel like going. I don't want to do it, whatever. And then he's like, I'm going to go. You might even say, I'm not even finna get that dressed up today. I'm just going to put on something and just go. I'm not even finna, you didn't even put on the best outfit. You just literally threw something on just to make it like they used to say, you pressed your way. Mm-hmm. Like you just got there. And it always seemed like when it's those days that you tempted to stay home, church be ridiculous.
Right.
And it's like, that kind of be the trick of the enemy. Like you did all of that, went through all of that, and you got to church and God met you there. So a lot of times pushing through is the evidence that you need to say, okay, it's something on the other side of here. It's just like the push through is like the motivation to just it's something on the other side here. That ain't the word I'm looking for, but the push through is basically, it's a blessing in that, because a lot of times if you just go and push through there, you can get to that blessing on the other side. Because it's like if I had to stay home those several times, not just one time, that I felt like I don't feel like going. And when I say them the days that I be at church on the floor, running, crying. The enemy know it's some deliverance in that push through. He already know that. That's why he don't want you to do it. As far as work, you already know how folks feel about work. But you have to just show up. And a lot of times you don't want to show up because our flesh don't want to do it. But you just have to make up your mind that whatever it is, there's a reward in it somewhere. You got to show up to work so you can get the money to pay the bills. You see what I'm saying? So it's always something that, like you said, it may be somebody there at church, at work, whatever the case may be, that you may have an encouraging word for them, or they may have an encouraging word for you. So if you didn't hear nothing else today, just go ahead and push through and see what the end gonna be. It's a blessing on the other side. It's a blessing in the pressing. It's a blessing in the push through. Amen.
I thought something while my wife was talking. Think about this. What if God didn't want to push? It's like, I don't feel like going to this cross.
Whoa, that's heavy being at this resurrection weekend.
I'm just thinking,
what if he didn't push through though?
Right, he's like, man, you know what? I got a headache. I'm not going to this cross.
I don't feel like going to this cross today. I'm not gonna be able to do it.
Right.
I mean, think about it. There's some deliverance in that push through. Because if God didn't push through, where would we be at right now?
Right.
So if we didn't learn nothing else, look at the Lord and how He pushed through to the cross for us. Love y'all. We almost done. That's number 18. There's only 2 left. So we're going to finish this up so we can move on to whatever else the Lord have us to do. We're going to push through the rest of these chapters. Love y'all. Bye.